You're listening to the Chronicles of Living podcast, where we talk to everyday people about everyday things in the past, present, and future. Now let's talk.
Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. On the road of life, you can't stop. You can't stop moving. Keep move. Keep that pace. You switching to gear. Let's go. As we climb up the hill, don't slow down. Pedal a little more. The mind is working. It's in control. Your wheels are turning a little more. Going higher another notch. Keep it steady. Don't watch the clock go round.
Greetings, my visionary dreamers. Today's topic is, have you talked to yourself lately? Have you? This is Adionne. I'll be back in a sec.
We are learning, always turning later. Cannot stop the time. Always merging into lanes that better suit us as we ride. Switch it up. Switching to gear, let's go. As we climb up the hill, don't slow down. Pedal a little more. The mind is working, it's in control. Your wheels are turning a little more. Going higher another notch. Keep it steady, don't watch the clock go round.
So I just want to welcome all the newcomers, all the new listeners out there. This is Adionne, your dream pusher, your lifeguard, saving you from yourself, from the world, from some real bullshit. And you are listening to Chronicles-of-Livin-podcast show, the show for everyday people doing everyday things, living everyday life. You know us extraordinary folk doing the damn thing the best way we can. And I realized last week during the interview, I said normal folk. I don't even know what happened there. Maybe because it was pre-recorded. I don't know. But I apologize because you know that we are extraordinary. All of us. We just got to tap into ourselves and tap into that extraordinary power that we hold within us, because we all do hold that extraordinary power. And so that's why today I felt like it was time to revisit the whole checking in with yourself, talking about this topic. Have you talked to yourself lately? I mean, we always say, we'll ask each other, have you talked to Bobby lately? Have you talked to, Tracy lately? How about have you talked to yourself lately? And when I say talk to yourself, have you checked in with yourself? I mean, we wake up every day, and thank God we wake up every day. Thank God, a lot of us wake up healthy, and, even if we have some health issues, we wake up. We have another chance, another day to do something different in life, to experience something different, to check with ourselves and see if we are running in a cycle, as Torelli and the Fuse just was singing, or are we breaking cycles in our lives, in our family lives? This is the thing that we take for granted. We always check in on everybody else, but we need to check in on ourselves. I was talking to a friend the other day, and this is how this topic came about. We were talking about, I want to say more so, the midlife crisis thing. I really believe that that's really what the conversation was about. It was about, how some people can fall into depression and can't grasp hold of that depression. It just kind of drowns them, and before you know it, you're getting deeper and deeper into this depression state, because when we reach certain points in our lives, some of us set agendas, some of us set goals and visions and dreams, and when we don't reach them, some of us can fall into depression, or if a relationship don't go right, and we've given it our all. Some of us can fall into depression or fear of getting into another relationship, wondering if it's going to turn out the same way. Scared to take another chance on life, rather it be a dream or a relationship, rather it be something as, important as wanting to have a child, and maybe it just didn't work out when you went to have this child. Maybe you lost a child, things of this nature. I've lost a child before, so I know how that can feel. But we all have to get to a point where we start talking to ourselves and saying, not in a crazy way, y'all. We don't walk around the streets talking to ourselves, but in a way that we can look in the mirror and say, hey, Dionne, what's going on with you? What are you working towards? What is it that you need to look at and you need to delete out of your life? Who is it that you need to delete out of your life? Who is serving you for the better good in your life, and who is not? Who is it that you need to delete out of your contacts forever, or who is it that you need to put on pause? Where is your energy going? These are the things we need to check with ourselves and have this conversation, so when we talk about, as I was talking to my friend, depression, where's that energy coming from? I was saying, where do you think that energy is coming from? Is it because you're getting older? Is it because my friend was telling me that they felt stuck. They felt like, they know what they're capable of doing, but for some reason, they just don't do it, And I believe that is the problem with, I'm not going to say problem, that is the thing or the issue that a lot of us have to learn how to tackle. There have been plenty of times that I don't want to say stuck, because I always keep it moving. Everybody that knows me, they always tell me I just don't let the grass grow under my feet. But there have been times where I had to talk to myself and say, you know what, Dionne, where did you go wrong in this term? What was it that it just didn't go as planned? What is it that you need to do different the next time? Or do you need to just not do that, I mean, like, perfect example, my son, he just left for college today. We just moved him into his house. Him and his roommates, they got approved for a house on campus. And I said, shoot, y'all living better than me. Y'all in a single home, nice yard, garage and everything. But the thing was, as we spent time over the summer, he expressed to me, we had a talk, and he expressed that he was stressed. Now, he's only 20 years old, and so if a 20-year-old can be stressed, kids that's younger, they can be stressed because of whatever it is that they got going on, that they feel that they should be accomplishing in life. So he expressed to me that he was stressed because, in so many words, he felt like he let himself down. He kind of took things for granted, and his GPA dropped a little bit. And the conversation came about because of me, when people ask about him, me telling people, okay, he's doing great, because that's what I know. You know what I mean? Because he was keeping this from me. So he had to check in with himself, because he would hear me on the telephone telling people, oh yeah, he's doing great and this and that. So he started feeling some type of way inside, and he had to come clean. Not just with me, but with himself. That, you know what? He messed up. He messed up for the semester. He was scared that, some of his scholarships he was going to lose his scholarships because of his GPA slipping. And these are the things that I'm talking about. So while he was holding that stress, he didn't have to, because we have great communication. But the whole thing was, he felt like he didn't want to disappoint me. He already disappointed himself, and he didn't want to disappoint me. But again, just like I shared some episodes ago, how my daughter, when she was pregnant with her second child, she felt like she didn't want to disappoint me. And I had to tell her, this is your life, just like I tell my son. But this is what we do as people. We build our lives around others, what other people opinions are of us, instead of zeroing in on what we feel about ourselves, what it is that we need to do to make our lives better for us. It's not about everybody else. It's not about what everybody else thinks, although this is how we live our lives from day to day, worrying about what everybody else thinks. So after we had the conversation, and I told him, like, look, okay, you acknowledged it, so what are you going to do about it? And this is the same way, I talk to my daughter. I'm like, what are you going to do about it? You're having another child, so you know what you need to do. You need to finish school. And she went back to school, and it was a rocky road, a back and forth and in and out. And now in November, she'll be graduating. She's, studying for her master's. So with 2 kids and working full time, she had to make up in her mind that this is for her. This is now for her and her kids. It's not about me. It's not about what I think. It's about her journey in life. Just like with my son, he doesn't have kids yet, but it's still about his journey in life. Once he completes college, what is going to be headed for, what he's going to be headed for, because now these jobs, they check your credit, they check your grades. It's like, it's harder than when I was growing up. You just walk in and you just fill out an application. They like your personality, they like the way you talk. They're going to give you a shot. Not no more. You got to go online, you got to fill out the application, and you got to compete against all of these people. And as I tell people, it's not about the weight, it's about you pursuing for yourself. You reaching out to whatever, you are moving towards, whoever you're moving towards, whichever career, job, you making sure you look on the website for the company and find out who is the headhunter in charge. Sending them an email, sending all the people emails till they know your name. And this is what I teach my kids. This is what I teach people that, I consult with. Whatever it is that you want to do in life, you can do it. You can achieve it. Now, you might not wind up with the company that you want to be with, or, and even with my son and daughter situation, you might work hard and you might fall off and your grades might fall off. But the thing is, you can get back up. We all have the ability to get back up. I had a podcast some episodes ago about I've fallen and I can get up. Go listen to that if this is the position that you're in right now, because this is the thing that stops us. This is the thing that paralyzes us from pursuing our dreams. This is the thing that keeps us from walking into opportunities that's just right there, right in front of our face, because we don't feel as though we are enough or we're prepared enough, and rightfully so. Sometimes you might not be prepared enough. So I'm just using my son as an example because, we had all of these talks before he left. There have been people, if you've been following me, I started doing like Uber and Lyft part-time. And I've been meeting some amazing people, great conversations. And I seem to get a lot of passengers that's in the computer field, engineering field, which that is my son's field. He's taken up engineering, computer science and Japanese. And I talk to them and they tell me about the internship. So I share with my son, like, look, I got this card. You can do this internship or at least apply. So next year or whenever the time comes, you can go ahead and do the internship. But he was putting it off. And then it came out that he felt like he wasn't prepared. Again, talking to yourself and letting yourself know that you are prepared enough. Because if the opportunity comes along, it's for a reason. And if it's an internship, that means it's an internship. You need to learn. They're going to teach you. So why will you feel like you're not prepared? You're not supposed to be all the way prepared for an internship. You know what I mean? But these are the things that we do to ourselves. We will self-sabotage ourselves instead of self-talking in a way that is positive. In other words, saying, oh, wow, this opportunity came my way through my mother's passenger. Maybe it's meant. And just putting yourself out there to see what happens. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? You don't like it. They don't like you. Okay, keep it moving. I'm just using my son to give you an example of how we need to examine how we're reacting to certain opportunities and how we are blocking ourselves from things that can be prosperous to our lives, to our loved ones, how we need to go in the mirror and really talk to ourselves on a day-to-day basis and just ask ourselves, like, what is it? Hey, Dionne, why are you afraid? Why do you have fear in your heart? What is it that's making you fearful of walking this path or, working towards it? What is it? Are you scared of success? I'm just using myself as an example because y'all should know I'm not fearful of nothing at this point. You listen to the show on the regular. But I too, every now and then, have to look at myself and say, why haven't you started this thing yet? Why do you keep putting this thing off? So, perfect example also is sometimes you can be overwhelmed because you have so much on your plate. And that is me all the time. I hate to say it, but excuse me. Excuse me. That is me a lot of the times. I have a lot of things on my plate because of the fact that I am doing everything. I'm record my own podcast show, whatever edits I have to do. I'm putting my websites together. I'm putting all my marketing materials together, from business cards to brochures. I make sure they get printed up. Anything that I have that making sure that I submit the podcast show to all of these different platforms, keeping up with any emails that come my way, and it's a lot. And then now, recently, finally finished publishing the first book out of the 3 that I wanted to put out as a combo together. But I had to look in the mirror and talk to myself and say, look, you're doing too much, girl. Pull it back. Pull it back. Now, publish one book at a time. But this is me. This is my energy. I'm always so like, let's get it done. I just want to get it done, you know. And I had to talk to myself and say, okay, let me do some meditation here and see what my spirit is gravitating towards. Which book do I feel like could be an opening for my visionary dreamers, for any newcomers? What's the book that can be pretty much an introductory, forget it, I'm not even going to say it. To introduce you, let's say that, to introduce you to the format of the books that I put out, you know? And the Visionary Dreamer 90-Day Journal is the first book out. So make sure y'all search that on Amazon, the Visionary Dreamer 90-Day Journal. And the reason why this book has been put out first is because this show is all about cleaning up us inside and out, mentally, you know, emotionally, getting to the core of who we really are and how we really, you know, work, basically. You know, what is it that, how we wired? Because everybody is not going to do things the same way. And everybody don't do things in the same timing. You know, there are different levels for each and every last one of us that we will reach at different times in our lives. And just because your friend, your family member might have reached a certain level that maybe you might have been working towards before you, that is not for you to worry about. You just keep focusing on you. And that's why I put the Visionary Dreamer 90-Day Journal out first, because this is the way I keep things together with doing so much. I've been journaling for years, and I truly believe that it is one of the most powerful things that you can do for yourself. And is one of the most powerful ways that you can track the progress in your life. And so it is for you to learn how to invest in you, you know, to take that little bit of time out of your day, whether it be the end of the day, the top of the day, and write, you know. It's different activities in the book, and it's a 90-day journal, so it's in 30-day increments so that you can look back at your progress from week to week, month to month, and see how much you have changed and what you have accomplished along the way. Because I truly believe when you write things down and you can see it on paper and you can cross it off and say, I did that. It could be something really small, but you did it. That means that you can do the next thing. That means that if you paid off a little bill that was $50, you can pay off a bill that's $100 that you might have in collections or something like that. You can work towards anything that your heart desires, but you have to learn to talk to yourself and stop listening to the world sometimes. Stop taking in everything that the world is putting on you, because that's what we do. We take on everybody else's stuff and forget about our own sometime. You know, we just moving around like robots from day to day. Okay, gotta wake up, gotta go to work, gotta, go meet a client, gotta go work with the customers. This is what we do from day to day. We hit the clock and we're trading our time for money, because we have financial commitments that we have to pay off to keep our lifestyle up, whichever way the lifestyle is, whether it's low or high. I just think that we all need to learn how to get to a point that we're comfortable with. A lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck. But in reality, if we cut off the cable, if we do little things and pull back on things that are really not a necessity, learn how to do our own hair, do our own nails, or, little things like that, we can save and invest in the things that can help us to get out of debt so that we can start living our dreams and our visions, And if you are a first timer to this show, I talk from a broad range because I know there are people listening all over the world, and everybody has different things that they are addressing in their lives. So therefore, I work hard at reaching and tapping on a lot of different things within the show, whatever the topic is. And I work hard at thinking of different people, different, levels of lifestyles. So this is what I do. But yeah, we have to start looking in the mirror and telling ourselves, when a storm comes, it's going to be all right. We're going to weather through this. Start looking back at all the things that you have made it through, because we have all made it through some hard times. I'm sure of it. At some point in our lives, we have all made it through some type of obstacle, struggle, that we might have thought we couldn't, It's plenty of times that I have been in a jam and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And let me say this. I asked my son when I dropped him off and before I left today, I asked him as we were riding to college, and I always ask, I've been asking him this since he was young, like, what have you learned? When he was in school, like, what have you learned today? What did you learn today about yourself? What did you learn that you can apply to your life? I ask my grandbabies that now when I talk to them, like, what did you learn in school today? So they know they have to have something prepared to tell Mimi. And I asked them, what did you learn about yourself this summer? What did you learn about me? And what he said he learned about himself was the whole stress issue, that he really didn't have to be stressed. He just needed to acknowledge it and realize that, okay, I got to get back on track and I got to work harder, which he did. And he, worked through the summer. He took on a course, a coding course on his own, to get a certificate. He studied Japanese on his own, to get ahead, because he wanted to make sure that he was ahead so that he could make up for how he fell off. So that was him acknowledging his downfall and figuring out a way to fix it. And then he said about me that he learned that adults can make mistakes too, because when I moved down here, when I moved from, if you've been following me, I stayed at a yoga and meditation retreat for some time. And when I moved out of there and got my place, I moved for a certain opportunity. And that opportunity didn't work, but yet I still went forward with what I planned on doing, and that is working with young people and teaching them life skills. But I just had to take it from a different angle. And still the angle that I wound up taking it from, it wasn't as, I'll say, let me see, it's not paying off the way I wanted it to financially. So therefore, I had to go and figure out something else. So here's my son watching me maneuver and fix what happened that I wasn't prepared for. I wasn't prepared for the first opportunity that I came here for, not to work, not to pan out the way I wanted it to. But yet, I still stayed my course. I still worked on my books. I still, I didn't let the plan change. I still came on and was focused on getting a podcast done. And this is what we have to do. We have to learn how to maneuver through life, because it's never a straight line. It's never going to be perfect. And once we acknowledge that and learn that life is not perfect and we are all in this together, we're all working towards becoming better individuals, becoming better at our craft, and learning who we are as we go from age to age, because each age we turn, we are different. We're growing. I hope we're growing. Maybe you're going backwards. But as long as you acknowledge that you're going backwards, that's a start. Now you can sit down and figure out and write down, what is it that's making me go backwards? Why am I repeating my cycle? That's that. Have you talked to yourself lately? Why am I in the same position that I was in last year? Why? Get to that. Figure out your why. As I had a guest on last week, Nate Belly. If you haven't listened to that show, this man is amazing. And he's a life coach and a book author. And he has achieved so many different things. And he, just like me, he said he's crazy enough to just keep trying. And I don't use that word try, but keep working at new things, And that's what life is about. Working at something new, changing up, inviting change into your life so that you can grow more, so that you can learn more about yourself and learn how you operate. Because see, when change comes, that's what forces us to have to problem solve. And when we have to problem solve, that's when we learn who we are and how we're built, how strong we are as an individual. Do we rely on other help all the time? Do we depend on other people all the time to fix our problems? Or do we work at it to fix it ourselves? Now, sometimes, definitely, if you need the help, utilize it if people are giving you help. But we all have to get to a point in our lives that we sit down and start to navigate on our own, because help is not always going to be available. So this is where we learn how we are wired. Because when help is not available, what do? Do you give up? No. You just keep your eye on the ball. Keep your eye on your goal. Keep your eye on your why, as I asked Nate last week. What is your why? And it all boiled down to his kids, He don't want anybody else showing them about life. He want to be the example. Just as I want to be the example and be the influence, the main influence on my kids, I want to let them see that when things happen, you tackle it, You sit down, you calm yourself, you think about it, and you just draw out your plan. You draw out your blueprint of the different routes you can take. And think about the repercussions. Think about the results that can come from it, Ask yourself, are you willing to walk this path or that path? Get the self-talk yourself and let yourself know that you are strong enough. You are built for it. If it's something that's in your heart to do, that means that you have everything it is that you need. Because it wouldn't be in your heart if you didn't. You might not be able to see it right now, but if you just start to walk the path, everything will fall into place when you least expect it. The interview last week, I was contacted by his agent, by one of his booking agents, They emailed me because I decided to walk the path. I decided to show up for the podcast show. I decided to invite people to email me, adionne-your-dream-pusher at gmail.com. Email me or email me at chronicles-of-livin-podcast at gmail.com without the G. Let me know that you're interested on coming and sharing with my visionary dreamers. It has to be something very inspirational. You got to be transparent and willing to share your story and willing to share with people how you overcame your obstacles. This is what this show is all about. So, my time is winding down, but I just, this week has been very trying because, getting everything together for my son to go back to school. And I did do a video interview with Nate, so I will be uploading it to YouTube. And that's an example too. I almost overwhelmed myself because I really wanted to get that up for you guys last week. But I knew I was facing a crazy week with getting things in order for my son to go back to school. And I was grinding, getting the money together so that everything would be good for him. And, that's what I'm saying. Just don't overwhelm yourself. Do what you can with what you can. I tell you this all the time. Tell y'all this all the time. Do what you can with what you have right now. Just start right now, I had to keep it real with myself and say, if I take and put the blog page together now, it's going to be thrown together. That's not how I operate. So therefore, I'm like, okay, let me get through this week. Let me get him off to school. And then I'll take my time this week right here coming and put the blog page together and put the YouTube video up. Because I had to put my little intro together and things of that nature. I want things to be right for you guys, And I want to show you that you don't always have to tackle everything at once. Even though y'all might listen from show to show and it might seem like, oh my gosh, she's trying to do too much or she's doing too much. This is when I self-talk. I have a talk with myself. And that's why I say this show is not just for you. It's for me too. I have to constantly remind myself, pull it back. You're doing too much. Calm down. And, one thing at a time, one day at a time. And that's what it's all about, y'all. So to all my new listeners, I just want to thank you for listening. And I pray that this show has encouraged everybody, my visionary dreamers that's been around since the beginning, my newcomers. Shout outs to any Lyft or Uber riders that's listening. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for the conversation and the good rides. But definitely, I really, really appreciate you guys. This is 111. Episode 111, and again, it's been a lot of talking to myself to keep this thing going, and I love doing this. I love coming on here, inspiring and encouraging you guys. This is my purpose in life, so therefore, I breathe this, and I'm going to work on saying or stop saying, these are the things I'm learning about myself as I listen back. There are things that I have to work on, I said it again. But there are things that I myself have to work on. So just like I have to work on it, you can work on it. And with each show, I'll get better and better, you know? It's a habit, y'all. It's hard to break, but we all have to work on our habits. Challenge yourself and make sure you go out there and purchase the book, Visionary Dreamers 90-Day Journal on Amazon.com. Search it up. Visionary Dreamer 90-Day Journal. Invest in yourself. Really, seriously, y'all. Start investing more in you. I'm not going to say than anybody else, but you do. You have to invest more in yourself so you can be the best you, the best version of you. And therefore, everything else will start falling into place with you, with your loved ones, with your career, with your dreams and your visions. And with that, I'm signing off. This is Adionne, your dream pusher, your lifeguard, saving you from yourself, from the world, from some real bullshit, y'all. And this is Chronicles of Living podcast show, the show for everyday people doing everyday things, living everyday life. You know, us extraordinary folk doing the damn thing the best way we can. I so appreciate you guys. And make sure y'all share the podcast show, like it, all that good stuff. I love you guys. Peace. Thank you for listening to Chronicles of Living, where we talk to everyday people about everyday things in the past, present, and future. And if you are pursuing your dreams, I'm proud of you. Because the best part of life is when you decide to live. To keep up with us, please visit chronicles-of-livin-podcast. Until next time, this is Adionne, your dream pusher. I love you guys.